Big announcement from RFK Jr., our HHS leader. The guy's doing some good work. Let's see what he did today. And I'm not being totally sarcastic or facetious. I'm saying let's see what he did here. Okay, this just was breaking. RFK Jr. removes all members of the CDC Vaccine Advisory Committee. Really, all of the members. That's cool. So he's saying today we're prioritizing the restoration of public trust above any specific pro or anti-vaccine agenda. The public must know that the unbiased science, evaluated through a transparent process and insulated from conflicts of interest, guides the recommendation of our health agencies. So this is about 17 of these people got fired by him, and they're now going to be replaced. At the bottom is here, it says a clean sweep is necessary to reestablish public confidence in vaccine science, and the new members will prioritize public health and evidence-based medicine. Oh, well, that's good. He's telling us the new members will do much better. Okay. The committee will no longer function as a rubber stamp for industry profit-taking agendas. The entire world once looked at America health regulators for guidance, inspiration, scientific impartiality, and unimpeachable integrity. Public trust has eroded only through radical transparency. Radical transparency. Wow. I hope we get that. Okay. It's a nice word. I like it. And gold standard science, we will earn it back. Okay, Jay. So the firing of these horrible people, they're gone. Who's he bringing in here? He didn't tell us who he's bringing in. He just said, it's okay. Don't trust me. They're going to be better than the last batch. Are we to trust that the new hirees are going to be much better? Maybe one little, we talk about breadcrumbs. We talk about little incremental change. We talk about, I like this one, baby steps. Is it going to be a baby step, or is it going to actually be, as Kennedy says, radical transparency?
I mean, I think about the situation we saw play out with USAID. I think about how, yes, USAID did a bunch of bad stuff, and I think closing it down overall is probably, a good idea unless you're talking about massive reform. However, if you just take the money that was going to them and give it to Marco Rubio to distribute directly through the State Department, and he's using it just to advance American interests the same way, then have you really done away with the bad thing, or did you just rebrand the bad thing? So, it's definitely good, just like how ending USAID was good, but we won't really know until he appoints the new board members, and then we get to see how many of them have, say, conflicts of interest with, gene editing companies, or, like if that happens, or what's the other thing called? Hopefully not nanotechnology, like companies and all that. But like, if there's still connections to, the bio, tech, industry and all that, if the same industries are still represented, but they shifted maybe say from big pharma to biotech, then are we really moving in the right direction? So hopefully, what we'll see is people who are true to science, number one, and they're as unbiased as possible. But number two, hopefully people who aren't fully down the allopathic, street of medicine, and they're open to, new ideas. But specifically on, I guess, the vaccine, approval committee, I want to see people who respect personal choice and are against, mandates, in my opinion, and people who are truly dedicated. Like, I want to see relevant experience. Like, if your experience is testing things for toxicity, and I would like to see you in there. So finding that balance, I think will be interesting, because sometimes they are caught in a catch-22 where they want someone with experience, I guess, testing vaccine safety, but then wouldn't that mean a lot of those people actually work for vaccine companies before too? So I'm interested to see what he's going to do. He has a special moment in time right now where he has the ability to reshape, how our vaccination process works in this country. So I think honestly, we're looking at a make or break moment, like for Maha, because if Kennedy gets this wrong and he does not bring in unbiased, neutral people who are qualified for the position, then we could be in a situation where people just like lose confidence in the rest of the Maha movement. Just because, there's already been a lot of doubts, in my opinion, right now. When you look at how Trump started out the presidency, standing next to Larry Ellison, like talking about mRNA curing everything, well, starting out with curing cancer, and then Trump saying, yeah, and we're going to invest in it. So I'm hopeful, like I said, me, Matt, I spent a lot of time, volunteering for RFK, like during the campaign. I was a big supporter of his, but, I'm willing to call a spade a spade. And if he doesn't get this right and we get a bunch of biotech appointees, then I'm going to lose a lot of hope, like, in him. So this is a make or break moment right here.
All right. Well, I wouldn't hold your breath just on this. I'm with you. Like I want to see it work and come through him come through for us. I just happen to think that it's by design that it will fail. And the idea is that we get this little win to celebrate something when it's just a matter of just switching out the faces and just doing the same thing again. But we get to say, oh no, but he got rid of those horrible people. And he can put that in his greatest hits. He can add that to his greatest hits. That's already happened. So this is a win for him as far as he can put that in what did Kennedy do when he was in power? This is on that list now. Just saying that it happened, even though nothing has helped us, nothing has changed other than, hey, I got rid of those people. And so that's why I'm saying to be skeptical on this, because that is the win enough for him that then anything else that goes wrong, he can say, well, at least he did that. And so we got to be careful with that. Let's just on the positive side, let's look at what we hopefully won't see from these people anymore, because this is an actual voting session at ACIP from 2018, how they go about their meeting of deciding to approve a vaccine after they go through a couple little back and forth on all the information, and then they do their vote. Watch how a voting session, this is real from 2018, how they pretend that they're evaluating and being an advisory board. Check this out.
Comment on using this vaccine at the same time with other adjuvanted vaccines?
We have no data to make a recommendation one way or the other.
So just to sort of put this in context of other vaccines, whilst preclinical studies were not done using these vaccines simultaneously, our general approach to immunizations is that they can be given at the same time in different limbs.
Dr. Hunter?
Are multiple adjuvanted vaccines used in Europe or other markets?
Dr. Ward, do you want to comment?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, I think unless there's any further discussion, we will take a vote on this recommendation.
I want to remind everyone to please check your voting whatever machine thing, and I don't know what it is. Voting is open.
Thank you very much. So the voting is completed, and it is unanimous to support this recommendation.
We don't know if it's safe, but let's give it to everybody. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, this isn't a sketch. This isn't an SNL sketch. Just to be clear, like we have no data. We don't have anything to go on to recommend this wholeheartedly. Okay, all right, let's vote.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Why not? What's the worst that could happen, right? It's only a foreign substance being injected directly into our bloodstream that goes all over our body. Nothing bad could come out of that. But, it's funny, man. The hepatitis B one is such a crazy one because it's like a sexually transmitted, like, disease. And then they want to give it to, like, newborns right when they're born. Like, come on, man. Like what, you think they're about to, like, get busy that night? They got to get prepared? Come on, man. So... yeah, I don't understand even the justification for it, like to be honest with you. So.
This video, and this might be two separate conversations, because we're talking about the optics and the theater, and is Maha real? Is it trying hard and failing accidentally? Is it trying hard and failing on purpose? Is it or is it whatever? We can have that discussion. In this though, I'm glad that this video happens to be, it's an example of how everybody votes yes. Nobody even abstains. Everybody, this is why this is all theater, right? So these people are all fired. New people will be hired. But that's hepatitis B. I want to say, I've had conversations with people about the vaccine problem, not saying, oh, it causes this, it causes that. I'm saying this is the system in place where we don't have enough data, and there's a reason we don't. And people want to challenge that notion until you bring up hepatitis B. That's the one. I recommend people, if you want to start the conversation with family, friends, loved ones, colleagues, whoever, this is a good one to start with, because nobody can justify that a Hep B needs to be given to an infant. Nobody. And they tell you that at the hospital. They tell you that. No, you got no. And you say, why?
They present
why
it
do I
to
need to
you.
do this?
And they present it to you as it's like, oh, it's just what we do, like it's a normal thing. And you have to like really drill down and ask them. So
Yeah.
Is this mandatory?
Yeah.
Then and you have to ask that if you don't already know. And then they'll tell you, oh, well, no, technically it's not mandatory, but you got to protect the child. So, just go ahead and give it to them. So
once you spell it out that Hep B there's absolutely no reason for it. And then people go, well, I wonder why why do you think it's on the schedule? Well, obviously showing a video like this goes a little bit more into the corruption, and our audience understands that. But I'm just saying, if you need to start a discussion with someone, this would be the one to start on. But again, back to the original discussion, RFK Jr. firing all these people. I just don't, Jay, I honestly just don't see that the new batch is going to go into that same room and do things in an ethical way where, hey, let's it's time to, okay, we just looked at all the data. There's no reason to have this new vax on the schedule. Then everybody vote. They're all going to say, what? No, is it going to be 50-50? How do you see something like this playing out when pharma puts the next one on the schedule that shouldn't be there? Do you think that the voting is going to be honest next time? I'm just asking. I don't know.
So my question is, what steps, that's a good point. And my question would be, what steps is RFK going to put into place to prevent any, what measures will he put into place to prevent any progress he makes being immediately backtracked on, as soon as he's out of office, right? Like, are you going to make any lasting changes or insert any form of permanent transparency that can't just be rolled back? If he's willing to do that, and if he does that, then yes, I think it's a win. So hypothetically, is it possible? Yes. Is there anyone, in my opinion, who has more experience winning lawsuits against companies that have been poisoning people? I think you'd actually be very hard pressed to find a more prominent lawyer than RFK, who's defended people's right to not be poisoned. If you think about his work with Rivers, if you think about, him suing even telecommunications people, for 5G cancer, him suing on behalf of the NAACP, him suing on behalf of West Virginia towns. He's done this his whole career. So he can do it. The question is, will he do it? And the only thing I want to say is, if you look back at JFK and RFK's career, like his father and uncle, both of them actually played ball to an extent to get into a position to be able to have some influence. Because like I said, JFK, for example, never ever made a negative statement about Israel publicly. He worked with the Zionist lobby to an extent over there, and he still actually tried to make progress on reining them in once he had the power. So, there is a precedent very close to RFK Jr. About people actually doing or attempting to play the 5D chess game. So I know that's what Democrats and Republicans use to justify their own people. And some people are going to say, I'm doing that, for RFK. However, my only point is, if you look at what a man does his life doing, what a life spends his life doing, I should say, it tells you what they believe is worth their energy. And
Yeah.
RFK did do some very good things, like with his life. So I'm not going to rule him out. Now, I'm not going to also say that I think it's likely that we'll see a huge improvement, but I am hopeful. If I had to put a percentage on it, maybe a 45% chance that we do see some good progress.
We're gonna end this segment in a second, but I'm about to lower your 45 to 25. And here's how I'm gonna I'm at a 10. So I'm gonna get you to a 25 right now by making a comparison to the military industrial complex war machine that we saw the changing of the guard from the Bush Cheney Halliburton machine to Obama. And there was a sense of we can't let the Halliburton gang, the money laundering we have to get them out. And Obama said, we're gonna, he's a lawyer. Remember Obama? And he looks like us, and he's a lawyer, and he's going to hold people accountable, and he's going to get them out. And we have a new way of conducting business. Our face in America. It's all new people. Everything's going to be okay. No more fake weapons of mass destruction, Halliburton profiting, illegal torture program. It's all going to be taken care of. Well, he can check the box. He got them out. Nobody went to jail, but that's okay. At least we got the new face in with the new agenda. 5 new wars. Drones attacks on American people. So I'm saying, like, you get your little tiny win, but it's not actually a win in the long run. You're just doing the optics of changing of the guard. And then the people that voted for it get to go, yes, we did it.
Objectively speaking, right? I hear your point. Now, objectively speaking, do you think there was anyone who Obama brought in to, dismantle the military industrial complex who had a record of going against the MIC equivalent to RFK Jr.'s record of actually suing to get pollution out of stuff? So that's why I don't think your comparison is fully applicable in this situation, because I'm taking, honestly, a unique case, because I do think, RFK is somewhat unique when it comes to suing to get toxins out of people's bodies. So like that, and if you look at that and combine it with his family history, that's why I think there's a chance that we could see some progress here. So, is it likely? To be honest with you, I expect, my biggest hope out of Maha is that we will get some improvement to, like, the food supply and the toxins in the environment. I'm hoping that we'll see progress there, but I would put the percentage chance above 50 to get some progress, on that side. When it comes to the vaccination side, I do feel like because Trump has a lot of money tied up with Wall Street and the military, and the big pharma complex, that we're less likely to see progress on that front. So we'll see. But that's how I feel.
Okay, skeptically hopeful, or whatever we want to call it. It's okay. I get it. I'm glad we're having the discussion. It's a good thing. We don't want those people to stay. So good riddance. RFK Jr. fires the whole batch. Even our colleague, or our I guess you say, hopefully friend of the show soon, Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, she tweeted out this is a good thing. I think she's more on the optimistic side, saying, hey, finally you did something. We like that. We see that this happened. This is a good thing. We're keeping our eyes on you, RFK Jr., to see what you do next. But yes, take the win. Thanks for getting rid of these a-holes.
I just want to tell everyone, like, if you really care about this issue, you should read RFK Jr.'s book on it, Vax Unvax, even if you think that he is, like, co-opted by the establishment. Like, I still think that you should read his book, because he did a pretty excellent job, I would say, like, giving you the scientific reasoning behind why we're just like putting people at risk, with this vaccination schedule. So he actually is an excellent communicator. He's a pretty smart guy. And if we are all aware of what he knows, then it's harder for him to get away with bullshit. Excuse my language, but like, if we can see that you wrote a whole chapter about the MMR vaccine and how the potential cost may outweigh any potential any protection you get, like that short term, then we can call him out, like, as he's promoting it, which is what happened to an extent, when he was promoting the MMR shot. So just read his book, and it'll really like show you, number one, it'll inform you a little bit more. And number two, it'll prepare you to hold him accountable, because I think he is probably the most revolutionary figure that's been appointed to a position in government in like the last decade, I would say, in my opinion. So we'll see.
We'll see.